If you walk down the aisles of any grocery store or pharmacy, you'll see dozens of protein powders and shakes promising to rebuild your strength, often for $40 or $50 a tub. The entire fitness industry wants you to believe that staying strong after the age of 60 is an expensive habit. But what if that is a lie? What if the most powerful, most effective muscle-building foods were hiding in plain sight in the budget aisles of your local store, costing just pennies for each serving? Today, we are going to show you exactly how to find them. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Carter, and to help us uncover these affordable secrets to strength, we are joined by a physician who has always championed the power of simple, humble nutrition over expensive fads. It is our great honor to welcome Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara.
Thank you for having me, Ben. True strength does not come from an expensive package. It comes from consistent and wise nutrition. The strongest seniors I have known throughout my long life are often the most frugal. They do not buy fancy products. They eat simple, powerful whole foods that have nourished humanity for centuries.
And that is exactly what our guide is all about today. Dr. Hinohara is going to walk us through his Smart and Thrifty Protein Guide, grouping 7 of the most affordable and effective muscle-building foods you can find. We'll cover what he calls the dairy powerhouses, the canned fish champions, the plant-based pillars, and the ultimate standalone superstar. For each one, he will explain its benefits, and I will add the science and the incredible cost per serving breakdown. It's a true blessing to know that the best nourishment for our bodies is often the most accessible and affordable. If you are ready to learn how to build muscle on a budget and get stronger without breaking the bank, please type the number 1 in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. It's completely free, and this guide could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Okay, doctor, let's get right into your Smart and Thrifty Protein Guide. What is the first group of affordable powerhouses on your list that our viewers can find easily at their local grocery store?
We will begin our journey in the dairy aisle with 2 of the most effective and affordable muscle-building foods you can find. These are our dairy powerhouses, cottage cheese and Greek yogurt.
Let's start with cottage cheese. I know many people in America see this as an old-fashioned food, something their parents or grandparents ate. Why is it so powerful for seniors who are trying to build muscle today?
It is powerful because of the type of protein it contains. Cottage cheese is made almost entirely of a protein called casein. This is a very special protein because it is digested very, very slowly by the body. This makes it the perfect food for protecting your muscles from being broken down. I had a patient, a retired school teacher in her late 60s. She was spending over $100 every month on a fancy protein shake powder that was marketed specifically to seniors. She told me she felt it wasn't really helping her feel stronger, and that the cost was a significant strain on her fixed income. She came to me looking for a better, wiser way. We made a very simple swap. I had her stop buying the expensive powder and instead have a simple bowl of full-fat cottage cheese every night about an hour before she went to bed. After 2 months, she came to my office. She told me she felt stronger than she had in years, and she was saving a huge amount of money that she could now spend on her grandchildren. The simple, old-fashioned food was far more effective for her than the expensive modern powder.
That is an amazing story, and it perfectly illustrates the science. That casein protein you mentioned forms a gel in the stomach, which leads to a slow, steady release of amino acids into the bloodstream for up to 7 or 8 hours. This is crucial for seniors because it helps to fight anabolic resistance, that hard of hearing state in the muscles we've talked about. The constant supply of amino acids ensures the muscles are always getting the signal to repair and rebuild, especially during the long overnight fast. And the value is just incredible. As you pointed out in the source material, a 16-ounce container of cottage cheese costs about $2.50 and contains around 100 grams of high-quality protein. That comes out to less than 3 cents per gram. A typical sugary protein bar can cost 10 cents per gram of protein or even more. It's a huge saving for a superior, more natural protein source.
That is right. And our second dairy powerhouse is just as effective and versatile. It is plain Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt is fascinating because it's a 2-in-1 protein source. It naturally contains both the fast-digesting whey protein and the slow-digesting casein protein. So when you eat it, you get an immediate supply of amino acids from the whey to start the repair process quickly, and then you get the long, steady supply from the casein for hours afterward. This makes it a perfect food for muscle nourishment at any time of the day. And we cannot forget the probiotics. A healthy gut is absolutely essential for properly absorbing all the nutrients you eat. The live and active cultures in a good Greek yogurt support your gut health, which means you are actually getting more benefit out of all the other healthy foods in your diet.
And it is very important, as with cottage cheese, to choose the plain, full-fat version. The sugar in the flavored yogurts will cause inflammation, which works directly against muscle growth. The healthy fat in the full-fat version helps you feel full and satisfied, and it is necessary for your body to absorb fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin D, which is also essential for healthy muscle function.
And again, the value is amazing. A large 32-ounce container of Greek yogurt for around $5 gives you many high-protein servings for about 80 cents each. It's another example of how we are blessed with these simple, affordable, and incredibly nourishing foods if we just have the wisdom to choose them over the expensive, flashy products. So Dr. Cottage Cheese and Greek yogurt are two fantastic, affordable options from the dairy case. Where do we go next in the grocery store for our Smart and Thrifty protein guide?
Next, we will go to the pantry aisle for two foods that are incredibly convenient, have a very long shelf life, and are packed with nutritional power. These are our canned fish champion sardines and canned tuna.
Let's start with sardines. I know this is a food that makes a lot of people in America cringe a little bit, Doctor. It has a very strong reputation.
It does, but it is a food that we should all learn to appreciate again. For a senior on a budget who wants to build and maintain their muscle, these little fish are true nutritional powerhouses. They provide a very high amount of complete protein, which is the foundation for our muscles.
But it is so much more than just the protein, isn't it? This is a perfect example of what we call food synergy. First, as you said, you have the complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids that your muscles need. Second, you have a huge dose of the powerful anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids. As we know, chronic low-grade inflammation can speed up muscle loss in seniors, and the omega-3s in sardines help to protect the muscles from that inflammatory damage. And third, because you are eating the tiny, soft, edible bones, you are getting a massive and highly absorbable dose of calcium for your bone health. Strong bones are the anchor for strong muscles. So with sardines, you get a 3-in-1 benefit for your muscles, your inflammation levels, and your bones.
And they are so simple to prepare. You can mash them on a piece of avocado toast with a squeeze of lemon. You can mix them into a pasta salad, or you can simply eat them on whole grain crackers.
And the value is just unbelievable. A single can for around $1.25 can give you the same amount of high-quality protein and often even more omega-3s than a $6 piece of fresh salmon. It is a true superfood for pennies on the dollar.
That is right. And our second canned fish champion is one that is much more familiar and beloved in the American diet. It is the simple canned tuna.
Canned tuna is fantastic because it is almost pure lean protein. It's also what we call highly bioavailable, which is a scientific way of saying that your body can digest and absorb it with incredible efficiency, over 90%, even in older adults. Now, the big question that people always have about tuna is about mercury. The FDA has been very clear and consistent on this. They advise that eating up to 12 ounces of low mercury fish per week is perfectly safe. Canned light tuna is on that low mercury list. By choosing chunk light and by rotating it with other fish like sardines and salmon, you get all of the incredible benefits with minimal risk.
And again, the convenience is wonderful. A classic tuna salad sandwich on whole grain bread, or mixing it with some vegetables and a little olive oil for a quick lunch, is a perfect muscle-building meal.
And at around $1 per can, you are paying less than 5 cents per gram of some of the highest quality, most absorbable protein you can buy. It is an unbeatable value for senior health. Now, doctor, we've covered the dairy and the canned fish. What is the food you called the standalone superstar?
The final food in this group is perhaps the most perfect, most underrated, and most affordable muscle-building food in the entire world. It is the humble egg. But I must stress it is the whole egg. The true power for your muscles is in the yolk.
This is so important and the science is so strong on this. That study from the University of Illinois you shared showed that eating whole eggs after exercise resulted in a 40% greater muscle growth response compared to eating just the egg whites. That is not a small difference. It is a massive difference. The yolk contains about half of the protein, but it also contains the essential nutrients that make the protein work better. It contains the leucine to trigger muscle growth, the vitamin D for muscle function, and the choline for healthy nerves to fire those muscles. The nutrients in the yolk create a synergy that makes the protein from the white more powerful. And at about $2.50 a dozen in many places, that's just over 20 cents per egg, which comes out to about 3 to 4 cents per gram of the highest quality protein on earth. It truly is a blessed and perfect food designed by nature to provide complete nourishment. It's just amazing how these simple, affordable foods are so packed with power. We are so grateful to share this with our amazing community. To help us see our global community, please let us know what city, state, or country you are watching from. We love to connect with all of you.
We have now covered the wonderful and affordable proteins from dairy and from fish. Now, we will move to our final category of foods, which is perhaps the most affordable and the most sustainable of all. These are our plant-based pillars, lentils, and dried beans.
Doctor, many people in America, especially from older generations, don't often think of plant foods as being powerful for building muscle. What makes lentils such a great choice for a senior who is trying to get stronger?
They are a wonderful choice because they provide a complete nutritional package. They have a very high amount of protein to build muscle, but they also provide a wonderful slow-releasing energy from complex carbohydrates, and they are packed with fiber to support a healthy gut. But for seniors, one of their most important hidden benefits is their very high iron content.
That is such a critical point. Mild iron deficiency is incredibly common in older adults, and it is a direct cause of the muscle weakness and deep fatigue that so many people experience. Iron is absolutely essential for your body to create hemoglobin, which is the special protein in your red blood cells that is responsible for carrying oxygen to all of your tissues, especially your muscles. If you are low in iron, your muscles are literally being starved of the oxygen they need to work hard and to recover well. The rich source of iron in lentils can help to correct this common nutritional gap that is so often mistaken by people as just getting old.
And that brings us to our seventh and final food. This is the number one most affordable muscle-building food on the entire planet. It is the simple bag of dried beans. I must tell you the story of a patient of mine. He was a gentleman in his late 70s. He was living on a very fixed income from Social Security, and he came to me because he felt that he could not afford to eat a high-protein diet to stay strong. He was eating a lot of inexpensive bread and pasta, and as a result, he was feeling very weak and was losing muscle. He believed that healthy, strong food was a luxury that he could no longer afford. We sat down together, and we made a new plan for him with simple dried beans as the foundation of that plan. I showed him how one large bag of dried black beans, which costs just a few dollars at the grocery store, could provide the protein for dozens of healthy meals. He started making a big pot of a simple bean soup or some beans and rice at the beginning of each week. He told me it was a complete game changer for both his health and for his finances. He felt stronger and more energetic than he had in years, and he was no longer filled with anxiety about his weekly grocery bill.
That is such a powerful and empowering story. And let's be clear on the science for our viewers. While most beans on their own are not a complete protein, your body is very intelligent. As you said in the source material, your body can combine the amino acids from the beans you eat at lunch with the amino acids from the grains like rice or toast that you might eat at dinner to create a complete protein in your system. You do not even have to eat them in the same meal. And the value is simply unmatched. As you calculated, Dr. A 1-pound bag of dried beans for around $1.20 can provide about 12 high-protein servings. That is just 10 cents per serving. It comes out to less than 1 cent per gram of high-quality protein. There is nothing else on earth that can compete with that incredible value. Now, doctor, this is all amazing. But for some seniors, especially those who might be living alone or who have arthritis in their hands, the idea of cooking a big pot of dried beans can feel like a lot of work. Can you give us some simple meal prep tips to make all of these affordable foods more convenient?
A very practical and important question. The key is to do a small amount of simple work one time to make the rest of the week very easy. For beans and lentils on a Sunday afternoon, you can use a simple slow cooker. You simply put the beans or lentils in the pot with some water and some gentle seasonings, and you let it cook by itself for a few hours. Then you can store the cooked beans in small containers in your refrigerator or even in your freezer. Now you have healthy, ready-to-eat protein for the whole week. For eggs at the beginning of the week, you can hard-boil a half-dozen eggs all at once. Keep them in the refrigerator. Now you have a perfect high-protein snack that is ready to grab at any time with no cooking required. And for the canned fish, you can make a large batch of a healthy tuna or sardine salad mixture and keep it in a sealed container in your refrigerator. It will stay fresh for 2 to 3 days, and it is ready for quick sandwiches or to put on top of a green salad.
Doctor, this has been an incredible and very empowering guide. You have shown us all that fighting back against age-related muscle loss does not have to be expensive. You have proven that strength does not have to be a luxury. You've given us a complete smart and thrifty protein guide featuring the dairy powerhouses, the canned fish champions, the superstar egg, and the incredibly affordable plant-based pillars. This is a complete budget-friendly strategy that anyone can use to combat sarcopenia. What is so hopeful about this is that this approach to managing muscle loss is truly accessible to everyone, no matter their income. This is not about buying expensive powders or fancy cuts of meat. It is about using wise nutritional strategies with simple foods to fight sarcopenia. For anyone watching who is worried about their strength, this guide shows that you can prevent sarcopenia with the simple, affordable foods found in any local grocery store.
I want to leave everyone with this one final thought. Do not be fooled by fancy labels and high prices. The most powerful nourishment for your body is often the most simple and the most humble. Be consistent with these wonderful, affordable foods, and your body will thank you with strength and with vitality.
That is the perfect message to end with, Doctor. The most powerful nourishment is often the most humble. It's a wonderful reminder that we have been blessed with these simple and affordable gifts from the earth to keep our bodies strong. And of course, the wisest first step is always to speak with your personal doctor or a registered dietitian to create a protein plan that is right for your specific health needs, especially if you have any pre-existing kidney issues. Please remember that our conversation today is for educational purposes. If you found this guide empowering and helpful, please give this video a like so that others can find this vital money-saving information. And be sure to share it with a friend or family member who might be worried about the cost of staying healthy. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. It is completely free and it ensures you will not miss our next practical health guide. And for our community discussion today, we would love to know, what is your favorite affordable high-protein food from our list that you plan to eat this week? Sharing your meal ideas in the comments is a great way to inspire our entire community. Thank you for being with us. Be well and be strong.